All right, hello there. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are returning. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about Fyodor Dostoevsky's short story, I guess is what this is. A Gentle Creature. This is the Oxford World's Classic edition. There are three stories in here: White Nights, which I've already discussed, A Gentle Creature, and Dream of a Ridiculous Man. Today I'll be talking about that second story, which is really only about 50 pages in length. Um, I guess kind of like the best way to introduce this maybe is just to read the opening paragraph, and then I'll kind of tell you a little bit about the story and what I think Dostoevsky is trying to convey, or the main point that he's trying to make. Okay, so here's how this thing opens up. This is chapter 1, and it's titled Who I Was and Who She Was for the chapter heading. So long as she's here, everything's still all right. I can go over and look at her anytime. But tomorrow they'll be taking her away, and how on earth will I manage on my own? At the moment, she's in the room on a table, two card tables put together. But tomorrow the coffin arrives. White, white, gros de Naples. Still, where was I? I kept pacing about, trying to make sense of all this. I've been trying to make sense of it for 6 hours now, and I still can't get my thoughts into focus. The thing is, I keep on pacing and pacing about. This is how it happened. I'll just tell it in order. Order. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a long way from being a literary man, as you can well see. But be that as it may, I will tell it as far as I understand it. In fact, that's the horrible thing about it for me. I understand it all. So what's going on here? We have this man who is going to give a confessional. That's essentially what this story is. Very similar, I guess, in tone to Notes from the Underground. If you've read that, I think that there's a lot of similarity between that character and this character, although this character is a pawnbroker. And we come to find out that the woman that's laying on the table is his dead wife, who has committed suicide. And so this whole story is going to be relaying the events of how they met, um, kind of his whole series of interactions with her, and then the events leading up to her suicide and him trying to make sense of everything. And as you can see here, he says, I understand it all, which I think is absolute nonsense. So he's a little bit of an unreliable narrator. We get all the events of the story from his perspective and through his point of view. I think that really what Dostoevsky's trying to relay here is right in the title, okay, of this chapter: who I was and who she was. Do we really know? I don't think that this narrator really knows himself. I sure as heck don't think that he knows his wife. So a little bit about this, and I'm not going to try to give like any major spoilers for anything here, but he is quite a bit older than her. He's a pawnbroker. In fact, he's aged 41 when he marries her, and she is 16 years old. There's quite an age disparity between them. I think that the man here, the pawnbroker, we never get his name, okay, or her name. We do get the name of one of the pawnbroker's servants, or I guess his house servant. But that's the only like real character that we get a name for. So this whole theme of not knowing yourself and not knowing your wife, I mean, his name's never given, her name's never given. So like really, how well does he actually know himself and know her? So we're inside the psychological processes of this man, and he's not a very likable person, right? In fact, at one point when he introduces himself, or one of the conversations that he has with this young woman who is she's an orphan, she's living with her aunts, who treat her very, they don't treat her very good at all. she's pawning items off. One of the items that she pawns is an icon of the Madonna, the uh, the Virgin Mary with child, okay, the Theotokos, and it's got like a silver case on it surrounding it. And one of the things that this pawnbroker says to her in conversation is, let me read the exact quote here. He says this: "I am a part of that part of the whole which would work evil, but engenders good instead." She shot a swift glance at me. Her keen curiosity had much that was childlike. "Just a moment. What was that idea? Where does it come from? I've heard it somewhere." "Don't rack your brains. It's Mephistopheles introducing himself to Faust. You've read Faust. You've read Faust?" So this is crazy, right? One of his opening remarks or conversations that he has with her, he quotes Mephistopheles, the devil, as he introduces himself. So this man is a diabolical character, okay? And he's deluded, he's self-deceptive. Um, there's a lot of things that I could say about the story, but I don't want to spoil the story for anybody that wants to read it. But it is a very uh, dark story, right? We're dealing with the theme of self-harm, suicide. So I guess so it's a very short story. It's a story that you could really read in a single sitting. Like I said, it's only about 50 pages. I believe it's available on Project Gutenberg. I think it's called The Gentle Creature here, but I think it's also called The Meek One or something similar to that is an alternate title for it. But yeah, I'm not going to say too much else about it. So I don't want to spoil it, but it does get into that the thought processes of somebody that is, very, like I said, deluded. They don't know themselves or others. He's kind of a nasty, bitter man. So, anyways, thank you for watching. Have you read this one? Let me know what you think about it. As always, have a wonderful day.